Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So this week's video is going to be a little bit different. I am starting a Let's Talk series where I'll be bringing in some of my friends and other people of interest to talk about anything and everything. So I guess it's kind of like a little mini podcast, sort of, with like a cute little Marsha spin to it. But this week I'm featuring my friend Mili. She is a beauty analyst and she's helped advise some of Canada's top beauty brands, including Shoppers Beauty Boutique, Loblaw's Beauty Catalog, and Deciem. She's been a great friend of mine, and we've always bonded over skin and new makeup products. So I wanted to chat with her and pick her brain a little bit about beauty and how it's changed and her journey with skincare, her relationship with SPF, diet. So we cover a lot of topics this week. So without further ado, I introduce to you my good friend Mili. And we're recording. Hi, Mili.
Hey, Marsh.
Thank you so much for joining me on my very first Let's Talk series.
Yeah, and congratulations to that.
Thank you. So we're going to be
Yeah.
talking beauty because you're my beauty guru.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Of course.
Millie, so tell me a little bit, how has this lockdown been for you? How has it affected your beauty regime? Has it brought some things to the surface? Like, I haven't been wearing any makeup, hardly any.
I
And
know, I feel like a lot of us haven't.
yeah, and it's like, I feel like it's a good break for my skin, but I also haven't really noticed that much of a change to my complexion. I feel like
Mhm.
I'm just at a level where it's like I need to be using different products and targeting some areas of concern that I just haven't been. So,
Mhm.
yeah, what's it been like for you?
Honestly, I think it's interesting because for some reason, I think before this whole lockdown started, I changed up my products I was using and I fixed a few things that I mean in my diet that I'll share with you. But I've noticed a big difference because I'm not getting ready for work and putting makeup on. So there's really nothing other than my skincare on my face throughout the whole day. And I have to say my skin's a lot better. And I don't mind telling you about my whole early 30s acne journey, it's like it happens. So for me, I think it's been a positive. Like I don't necessarily want to correlate the benefits of my skin with no makeup because the second things open up, I hope to be able to wear makeup. I mean, you made me put makeup on today, so I feel
Yeah,
pretty good about that.
thanks.
Yeah. But in terms of like beauty care, I've noticed the biggest difference for me is I am exploring new brands more and more. Like I'm really interested in the new indie brands that like haven't made it to Sephora shelves or like those that are only sold in like specialty boutiques. And so
Yeah.
I've been doing a lot of like scavenging, like just really trying to find like cool little gems. And it's no longer really the looking for what I want to target journey since I feel like I've done a bunch of that homework before. So now it's more like, how can I just find products that are fun that I've never heard about? And how can I create more of like a ritual process? And that's something I've noticed is happening more and more in the reports I'm reading and things that are going on in the market. And I'm sure you probably feel it yourself, like especially because we're like so stressed right now. I think we're all trying to do that, the little bits of like positive rituals. And I think beauty is a big, a big part of that.
Yeah, I think the indie brands are so cool because so many people are doing the research and becoming way more aware and way more in tune with what's going on their skin and how that's being absorbed and the effects of it. So I know for me, the first was kind of like when Whole Foods opened up in Mississauga, and I was like looking at their natural organic brands. And this was so long ago, so I feel like the quality wasn't quite there, but what a great start, like it was amazing. And now I know a lot of products that come out of Australia and New Zealand, and it's just so awesome.
Yeah.
So on that
Yeah.
note, what are some things that are big skin no-nos for you? Like, I'm pretty good about taking my makeup off before bed, and if I'm
Yeah.
super lazy, I'll just use the wipes, or I have
Yeah.
like a little cloth, a reusable cloth that I just will wipe my face off with if I can't do the whole like cleanser and all that stuff. But what are some big no's for you that we can't
Yeah.
go without?
I think it's funny that you bring that up because it's such a given for me to like do that whole remove my makeup even if it's 5 in the morning. Like I can't fall asleep knowing that it's on my face, and it
I
comes
wake
from
up
the
and
time.
my mascara is like stuck to my eyelid and it's just awful. So knowing that before I go to bed, I'm like, I don't want to feel like that in the morning. So that always motivates me too.
That's good that you have them on the side of your counter just to get
Yeah.
rid of it. But I'll never forget my dad. I mean, I'm Eastern European, and he came to Canada in the 70s, and I don't know how he would know this about makeup. Like, there's no connection
Yeah.
for me to assume that my dad would know anything. I don't know where he read about this, but he's like, do you know if you don't take off your mascara, it ages like 40 years or something on your lashes? Like, just that whole process of sleeping with it at night. And I was like, well, I must have been 12 or 13
And it
because
just stuck.
yeah, we'd do like dance competitions and we'd have makeup. And as a kid, you don't care. Like, you put a little bit of it on, you don't know what it is that you're putting on your face, first of all, which is, let's not go there and talk about toxic beauty, but
Yeah.
you also like sleep with it on because who cares, and you're young and you're not responsible and whatnot. And I remember my dad saying that, and I was like, oh my god, like I have to take this off my face. Like, what do you mean it's going to age 40 years? Like, what's going to happen to me?
I love
So
how
yeah.
the best beauty advice came from your dad.
I
That's awesome.
know, I know. And I don't even know where that came from. I should probably look it up and see what the truth is there. But a big no-no I have to say is, I think I, like many, and maybe you went down this path too, I got so excited about all the different acids coming out and all the
Oh my
different like
God. Yeah.
ways to like exfoliate your skin. And like, for me, with the assortment that was available, without the education, I was like, I need to try everything, and nothing's too much. You can put a little bit of salicylic and top it up with like lactic acid and put this and that and that. And I completely disturbed my skin's barrier. So I not only did I have sensitive skin starting out, but like I threw it out of complete whack. I think that my like hydration levels were like up and down. My like oil production was like up and down, and I just caused havoc. And so I think a big no-no is experimenting way too much with acids. Sometimes you need to not only ease into it, but you don't need to do it every day unless you build up a tolerance. And then the other thing that really stuck out, I just listened to a podcast from Breaking Beauty. They were interviewing Dr. Gross. And the one thing that he said that really struck out was, he said, you don't injure, this is, I should have remembered and said it prepared, but he said, you don't injure an organ for it to come back stronger and healthier. So like, you don't injure your lungs for you to run a better marathon.
Interesting. Yeah.
But he's like, you don't injure your skin with an acid peel for it to come back healthier and stronger. There's a better way to do that without like completely damaging your skin. So I think that's a big no. So that whole acid story. And one thing to all my acne friends out there, or anyone that's struggled with acne, oils. Like, I had no idea before I had my first episode of acne. I was using all the best products I thought were amazing. And actually, I want to say which brand. It was the Kiehl's. It was like that overnight serum in the blue bottle. I think you gave it to me.
For,
Marsha, you
yes,
gave me this product. Oh
yes,
my God. Yeah.
full
And
circle.
Poster Cole, you are the culprit. But it just didn't work well with my skin because I had naturally oily skin at the time, and topping it off with something um, that wasn't right for me at the time just caused more oil production. The one thing that I do, like, I don't want to say oils are bad completely, but there's a time to use them, and I just didn't do it the right way. You need
Yeah.
to make sure that you hydrate your skin. Oils will not necessarily hydrate the way that a water-based moisturizer will. You're actually hydration. You need to add that back into your skin, like hyaluronic acids and things that hold water weight that can add hydration back. If you don't do that and use oils as a hydrator, it you're not really, from my understanding, you're not pulling any hydration out of that. You're pulling like good nutrients and I guess like the subtlety of like adding fats to your skin.
Yeah.
And that's really great for some people that need that extra. But for me, it really wasn't, because the background of acne is you already have oil ready there in your pores, and just adding more is just not the way to go. For me, I took it out of my regimen, and I did a lot better. So
I remember that product, and I don't think it sat well with me either. I think we have different skin types to begin with, but it had some ingredients in it that I later looked up that were just, albeit even though they were natural, quote unquote, they aren't good for your skin. And some had like I felt like it was essentially like an essential oil that we put on our face. Like it just wasn't conducive. And I'd like to come back to, not yet, but your acne story, if you care to share. Um, but such a good point about the acid no-nos. Like I went crazy. I feel like my skin, and it could be different now that I've entered 30, but like I felt like my skin had such a high tolerance to sun, to the acids. Like I felt like nothing could like absorb or anything. So I, like when I first found out about AHA, BHA, I was like loading it on. And then after doing some research, apparently it makes your skin very sensitive to the sun. And I was like,
yeah.
oh man, and I don't wear SPF, guilty. Um,
Hmm.
but I was just like, I did get this sunspot. And after doing research, I was like, oh my God, it was from that AHA that I sampled from Sephora. Like she gave me a generous little thing, and I was just like every day putting it on, putting it on, putting it on. I ended up buying the product.
I have to go pick up the keys.
Okay.
Okay.
Did you have to tell me that?
Yeah. So we'll be here alone with the kids.
Okay. You just okay.
That's okay. Well, it's fine.
Okay.
I ended up buying the product and using it responsibly, but yeah, make sure before you put any of the serious peels, retinols. I think vitamin C might be in that category as well. The vitamin C serums, be careful. Be careful.
Yeah, I think everyone needs to do like a patch test and like a few week trial to see how it works with their skin for sure.
Yeah, definitely. I patch tests or hair dye tests, I never do. I'm just like, yeah, put it all on. With that being said, what are some products that you use that you would recommend? So I guess like a skin routine, like what is your, whether you do it in the morning, I kind of do all this stuff at night because I think it all kind of absorbs at night. So it's like from, start with the cleanser to like aging stuff or under eye creams, like let's hear it.
Yeah, it's funny because if you asked me this like last year, I would have been like, okay, these 20 things is
Yeah,
exactly, you need all these great things. I was still learning what worked for me. So it's so funny when you're like so hopeful when you're in like a state of despair of having bad skin, where like the second something works, you don't know what helped you with your skin. It could have been one of the 20 things you're using, or it could have
exactly.
weight, or your change of environment, or did you drink more water that week? Like you can't put it together. So that's why it's so tricky. But I would I guess I'm glad to share that like the trends have changed. Obviously, I think we're all kind of fed up with like having multiple products on our vanity, and we just want to know like how can I simplify my life, be good to my skin, and like know the very simple basic steps I need, and the little extra special things that I could add during the week, masks, exfoliators, yada yada, like all those special little things
So
will
fun
keep it
stuff. Yeah.
simple. Yeah, and what I would say is I think it's really important to hands down have a really good cleanser, and I'll explain why. And then I would definitely look into a good toner that helps, at least in my case, um, helps like continue cleansing your skin after you've washed it. And then I would look for some form of a booster that helps your skin concern if you're looking for hydration, or it could be a vitamin C, which helps with brightness. It could be the different things that you're looking for. And then you end with a moisturizer. So really you could just use the 3 products, or you can use the 4 if you like to use serums throughout the day and night. And the fun part about morning and evening routines is now that I'm in my early 30s, I'm really looking at how do I preserve my skin health longer and what helps with that. And so that's how I play around with my serums morning or night. The ones that I like to focus on in the morning are things that are antioxidant based, or well, vitamin C is an antioxidant as well, but vitamin C or different types of antioxidants to help prepare my skin for all the UVA, UVB stressors that you experience during the day when you're outside. It also helps, I guess it helps shield your face from all the damage that can come from the morning and the day. And then at night, I do restorative types of serums that are hydrating. So that's where I would use my hyaluronic acid, or I would look for like soft anti-aging products with different types of peptides. Although, vitamin C is really good to use morning or night. I like to switch it up.
Yeah. Ooh, very, very cool. Yeah, I need like a whole overhaul on mine. Toners are very important. I didn't realize, like, sometimes I spray a toner on and it almost feels like by the time I'm like finished up in the bathroom, I don't even have to moisturize. I don't know what they do or what they don't do. Like, toners are still such an enigma for me, but I'm always on the hunt for a good toner.
Yeah.
What
It's
has your
something gray area for me. I'm still like, it's a good question. I'm like, I hope she doesn't ask me what a toner does, but
like, I have no idea what they do.
Yeah, I feel like the way that I use a toner and the way that I've understood toners is, well, think about putting on your cleanser and not taking it off. So the benefits of the cleanser really is to remove your makeup and to like flush out your pores. At least for me, I like to feel like there's nothing on my skin.
Yeah.
And unfortunately that maybe is like stripping it of its natural oils, but like I want to feel clean, and then I'll put the moisture back into it.
Yeah.
But I feel like a toner, after you've cleansed your skin it's free and fresh and open. And once you add that first product, like a toner, and for me, I use a really soft salicylic acid by Paula's Choice. I feel like I'm absorbing all of that goodness of the salicylic, and I just feel like that's maybe what toners are supposed to do. They're like that first.
That was sort of my understanding too. Depending on your cleansers, they really strip, and some makeup is so stubborn. So finding the proper cleanser too for your skin, so you don't feel like so tight after you've washed your face. And then with the toner, it like balances the pH of the skin perhaps, but toners
that as well,
are very, very important. What's your journey been like with makeup? When did you start wearing makeup? Skin? How was your skin in high school? All of that stuff.
Yeah. When did I start wearing makeup? Well, my mom was in the entertainment industry in former Yugoslavia. She was a singer, so she was constantly performing in her late 20s to mid 30s, and it was just like her closet was like you could find any costume ever imaginable. Like they were different.
When you guys post photos of her on Instagram, I'm like, I really hope she has these outfits and these sunglasses and these hats because they are so epic.
Yeah, like she was such a diva, and it's like I tell her all the time, like, you were a superstar. Like you don't realize, like, you were a superstar. I'm not walking around with like these like amazing outfits, we're so average, these millennials. Like they really had a different level, but
we're so granola compared to them.
Sorry?
We're so granola compared to them.
Yeah. But whenever she had friends over, I remember like sitting in in their laps and like going through their lipsticks and like picking lipsticks for them to put on me. But it kind of stems from my mom introducing us to this whole routine of like beautifying yourself, like amplifying your beauty, and like
Yeah.
she never stressed putting a lot of makeup on. Like we got, you know, um like scolded to like not wear a lot of makeup because we were so young. But slowly when we got into dance, we got different like concerts and things, you'd have to prepare, like you'd have to get, you know, your face and hair done for your
Stage
performances. And
makeup,
so
yeah.
that's really the time that I started learning about it. But it was more of like a, okay, I have to do it versus I like this stuff, you know. I was only really interested when I was younger to like play around with lipsticks because I think it would, like, I felt like it was fun to open up those like those individual
Yeah.
mirror cases, those lipstick cases, like that. I was fascinated by that, like a container with this like magical like pink stick, like so cool. um but I only really started liking makeup as a form of expression in university with do you remember those MAC electric, like metallic eyeliners? They were liquid liners. There was
Yeah.
like an electric purple and blue and silver.
Yeah.
I feel like they still have them. That's when I was like, oh my God, like I'm gonna not wear anything on my face but this like stripe of blue or like stripe of purple. So it was like an artistic view completely. It was never to like conceal anything. For the most part, we were young and had really great skin.
Yeah.
And we're, you know, I have a huge sports background, so it just never, like, you don't put makeup on to go work out at that time, like at that age. Things have changed. You know, our gyms look like, you know, people get ready to go to the gym, but that's another story. So yeah, I only really started liking makeup more as a form of expression in college. And then now I'm really liking makeup to help accentuate your natural skin and your natural glow and your features.
Yeah. It's funny how it went from, you know, major contouring that I feel like high fashion has been doing like for years, like probably
Yeah.
like 80s that I could, as far as I could think I can go back. And directly after that, it's very like enhancing your natural, like it's so cool seeing the like heavy contour, shaping, shadowing, highlighting to like a more natural, you know, maybe just like conceal and blush, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, go on.
No, it's so funny you say that. Like I'm so fortunate to have brought my skin to a state where I can do that now. And I remember being so furious watching like the nude sticks campaigns and like things where like you just like blush it on and like touch a little bit and you look like you have perfect skin. And I was like, use people that have acne, show us how it can make us look
Yeah.
like we have this amazing healthy skin while we're in this process of evolving our skin to that point. Like I felt alienated in a way where all I could do to help my skin look like that was to use the makeup that was intended to be heavy and cakey. And I never really found in that journey a brand that made me feel like I was doing something good for my skin and that it was natural. So, or that it made my skin look natural. Like you had to use like, you know, setting sprays and things to make it look like skin. Like why did it have to do that? But yeah, I feel like I don't want to forget that there are people, and at times I still have breakouts, and you know, and I definitely struggled with all of that. Like it is not fun to not be able to find something that's right for you in a market right now that's just advertising healthy glowing skin, you know?
Yeah. So
So yeah.
interesting that you brought that up, coming from someone that hasn't struggled. You know, I have breakouts and I do get the occasional like hormonal zit before my period. And, you know, I'm 30 now. So I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'll just cover it up. It is what it is. But man, do those things really like affect your self esteem, like guy or girl, you know? And thinking about it and putting myself in that position, like your skin is already so vulnerable, and like having this episode that now, like, you know, an option isn't to hide. Like you still have to exist, you still have to go to school, you still have to go to work. um to put on something that's like essentially like the stage makeup, the thick makeup is like, I feel like I'd be like lying to everybody, because sometimes that skin, like if you've seen those crazy transformation videos online, like these people take their makeup off and they're unrecognizable with the makeup that they had on.
Yeah.
That's always something that I strayed from, because it was just, I don't know, it felt like it'd be a lot of effort, but also it's like, what am I hiding? What am I really hiding under all of that makeup? Acne
Yeah.
aside. But do you want to touch up on, that whole journey? Like, I remember you telling me, and I kind of thought it was over the phone. So I was like, she probably has
Yeah.
like a fit and is freaking out. But I remember
Yeah.
when like I saw it, I was like, Millie, this is no joke. What happened?
I know what happened, right? Like family with no history of acne, like hadn't had a speck of it until my late 20s. And I think that what I realized from all that, and why my skin's a lot better now, is I think I don't want to blame it on stress, because it's really I hate hearing that when someone's like, well, you broke out because you're stressed, and it's your fault that you're stressed, and it's your fault that your skin's like that, because it's all it's all your fault that you created your stress. Like, control your stress, meditate, drink some water, go on a walk, it'll go away. Like, that's not that's not how it works. Like, I feel like it plays a part in potentially, and this is, please, for another conversation, because there's a lot to discuss. This is like my favorite thing to talk about. The journey of understanding your gut flora and
Yeah.
what happens when you get stressed out and you disturb your balance and your enzymes and how you can't digest food properly. Like, and Marsha knows this, loved, and I still, if I could do it today, I would, but I'm not going to revisit that ever again. I would eat almond butter with a spoon. Loved the shit out of almond butter. My favorite thing.
Or on everything.
But turns out, and that's sunflower seed butter. Remember, we ate a bunch of that too.
I
So here
still
I am.
do.
Yeah, like, but I mean, you ate it. You were fine. Why wasn't I okay? Like, I loved this thing. I was switching to a more vegan diet, exploring with butters. Like, I didn't really like peanut butter as a kid ever.
Yeah.
But the second all these alternative milks started coming out, different butters, I was like all about exploring that and embracing it for all of like the benefits of the omegas it has and whatnot.
Yeah.
And essentially, I feel like I had a change of environment. I stopped playing professional tennis and went to do my MBA. So it went from like 4 hours of being active to like 5 hours of sitting in a classroom. So like, not only I feel like that disturbed my balance and potentially caused some stress, but I think that the coping with like leaving my sport and my ambition to be a professional tennis player caused just some healing I had to do in general. And that, as a form of stress, potentially had like disturbed my balance in my gut, for me not to be able to digest all these new foods I was introducing, all these nuts that are really high in great things, but also really high in, they're carcinogenic at the end of the day. Roasted almonds, like, I mean, I guess like anything raw is better than roasted, but regardless, like my gut couldn't digest some of these things I was adding. Coffee was a big thing. Almond butter, like, I think I was eating like more eggs than before too, and somehow, talking to my naturopath, which I recommend anyone that's struggling with acne, please go see a naturopath and try to understand what foods are disrupting your system, and try to work on an elimination diet to figure out what it is that potentially could be causing your acne through food. But what I had discovered was all the foods that I was adding into this vegan diet, at the beginning stages, the vegan diet,
Yeah.
I wasn't responding well with digesting that. I kind of stepped off of the veganism, started exploring foods again, was eating eggs a lot, and eggs wasn't helping it either. So I was like, well, it's not the vegan food and it's not the normal food, and I just have this like fucked up system, excuse my French. And what I found was, I just, from the, I guess like the stress in general, but then the learning how to digest those foods, I just like I had to start from scratch and rebuild my gut flora properly, and
Yeah.
add the proper enzymes to digest that. I'm at a point today where I can have egg in my food and not break out immediately the next day, and drink coffee without breaking out, which those two things, those were like immediate triggers. Like the next day, cystic acne, 100%. So
Wow.
I feel like if anyone's resonating with some of the things I'm saying, like heavy nut diet, eggs, and coffee, like if you can work on just eliminating those to help your body like cool it for a second and like add some great enzymes and digestive enzymes and work on like super high potent like probiotics, get your gut level in check and start introducing some of those products again, those food products, see if you're all right. That could have been, that was the answer for me.
And those aren't culprits that people usually go to. Like I know eggs, there's egg sensitivities, but for me, I was off of dairy for like a few months.
Yeah.
Just intuitively, like my whole journey with diet, and that's a separate conversation altogether, it's all been intuitive. But I was like, I'm going to cut out cheese. It's just not feeling right. It's too heavy. I feel after. Few months passed by and I saw, like, I think I was at Trader Joe's and I saw a wedge of cheese that I loved. And I bought it, had some. The next day I had like a cystic pimple and I was like, mother, it's the dairy. And I would have never pegged it. I always would have been like,
Yeah.
it's hormonal, it's that time of the month, whatever. But nut butters and fats, if they just don't work for you. And what's so great about elimination diet is right away what it is. Like, let's not
Yeah.
even cover, the processed foods and the fried foods and the chips and that stuff. Like that just anyways, we all know those aren't good for you. But something like an almond butter, which you find in smoothies, which are like at natural health food stores. So not knocking almond butter, but if it doesn't work for you and you don't know and you keep ingesting it, it's going to manifest in really weird ways.
Yeah, it has something to do with, for me at least, it was the digestion of the omega-6s. So like anything that was heavy, rich in that type of fat, it just potentially it just maybe took longer to digest. Or the one thing that I'm not an expert in but was reading up on is that when you get to a point of digesting and you can't digest it any further, and excuse me for butchering all the science here, but something about the toxins that are not being filtered through your different, like your intestines and organs, it
Yeah.
can seep into your blood. And when you have, and which you can live with like some bacteria and like
Yeah.
toxins in your blood.
I mean, like leaky gut syndrome, like when you,
Yeah.
yeah.
And what I learned with that in correlation to acne was that once that bacteria is flowing in your blood and it hits a pore filled with oil, like a pore with the base of oil, bacteria needs oil to react, or like a pimple needs the combination of bacteria hits oil. So either it's like you're dirty on your face or it's like internal, which is crazy because you're like, I was at a point where I was like, dude, I'm not putting, I don't know what on my face. It is clean. I exfoliate. It is nothing's, it couldn't be cleaner.
Yeah.
But the internal portion of like that bacteria is hitting the natural oil in your skin and it can react. And which is why a lot of acne products strip oil from your face, which, could lead to other skin disruptions where you're producing too much oil because you have no natural barrier and your skin's freaking out that it doesn't have oil on it, like natural moisture. So it's just overproduced. And it's so acne is such a constant balance of like stripping the oil, adding it back on. So you have like a balance, and balanced skin does not break out. So like topically you have to do your job, but sometimes it happens like internally too, where you have to control what it is that you're eating that's causing, I mean, am I like right to say like excessive bacteria? Like, I don't know. For me, that's what it was. Like I was not digesting it, and somehow it was my body was treating it as a toxin, releasing it through my blood. And the way that your body gets rid of it is like through your pores. And then that's how I got acne.
Just game over. So
Yeah.
So then you would agree that your diet definitely has a correlation with your skin health.
Yeah, I would. For me, I think it's like, I think, I don't know if I would call it like 70-30 diet to proper skincare, but I think that's fair to say. And of course, stress does impact it. I hate to accuse stress, like I said, to bad skin, but I see people that are stressed and have great skin. So I can't really say like that if someone should really be you know, like made feel like horrible if they're stressing a few days a week or a month or whatever, right? But I think diet more so than skincare, for sure.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's never just one thing. All these things kind of work together, and it kind of goes back to knowing you and being aware and kind of listening to your body, whether it's a zit, whether it's exhaustion, whether it's stress. And I think it all goes back to like slowing down, be conscious of what you're eating, be conscious of what you're putting on your face, and just treat your body with love, right? Like
Yeah.
it really goes back to those simple rules, research and just put in an effort. Like you're in this body for X amount of years, like have fun with it too. How does, we're in summer right now here in the northern hemisphere as opposed to Australians who are like having winter right now, which is so weird.
That
Like
looks pretty good, let's be honest.
I know, I know. Um, SPFs, are you using them? What do you think about them? Um, you know, People swear by it. I was in Cuba in September and didn't put a lick of it on. I'm terrified when I turn 60, it's all gonna just like overnight happen. But yeah,
Yeah. When I look at the types of sunscreens we've been using throughout our childhood, adolescence, and even those that we gravitate to for like traveling and the spray sunscreens and things, I wish I knew what I knew about sunscreen now then. I can't say that I've damaged my skin from it, but I have a bit of sun damage. I was, a college tennis player, played on the tour a little bit after, and I was in the sun. You're sweating, you're wiping your face off. Whatever sunscreen you put on it's not always on your face. You reapply as much as you can, but ultimately you are there burning. You're burning your skin. You're wearing a hat, but you are burning your skin. So protecting yourself from the sun is really important to me, and I'm realizing it now and at this younger stage because I am starting to notice signs of melasma, which is like basically your certain skin cells react to the sun by like tanning faster than other cells because it's trying to protect yourself from the sun since it's had like multiple episodes of damage. There are other reasons why melasma happens. It could be hormonal. People get it when they're pregnant, and just like different life stages. But for me, because of the acne, I went through a few stages of like doing peels, chemical peels, and from talking to dermatologists now, sometimes the bad side to peels is that it can bring some of the history of like sun damage to the surface because it doesn't always appear at a younger state. It usually appears when you're older, and because I've been causing more cell turnover to get rid of the acne scarring, I pulled it to the surface a bit prematurely.
right.
So I use SPF with a strong UVA, UVB. That's a mineral sunscreen versus chemical, because a mineral sunscreen will cause a reflector, like a kind of like gets the sun to ricochet off your face, versus a chemical sunscreen will absorb the rays. And so if you have pigmentation, it can still get darker. You can get protected from burning, but it's not reflected. Your skin absorbs it, so it could get darker. I'm not saying that with mineral sunscreen you won't experience a little bit of that, because even the virtue of your skin being around heat can activate it too for it to get darker.
Okay.
It also subsides when you're in the shade and whatnot, but it's important to not cause any further skin damage. At least in my case, I'm super super strict with sunscreen for myself. So you want to make sure that your sunscreens have both UVA, A for aging, and UVB, B for burning, to help protect your skin from the DNA damage that happens when you burn it. Like, we're young enough that and our bodies are resilient enough that when you burn your skin, you'll have cell turnover and like you'll refresh your skin.
Yeah.
But what happens also, and why UVA is important too, is you're helping fight off basically the like oxidative stressors that happen to your skin when you're out in the sun. I may be butchering it here too, but like when you're in the sun, you basically accumulate like free radicals on your skin that over time can bind to healthy skin cells and damage them. And so then you're actually propelling a chain reaction of like
Yeah.
damaging your skin cells. So, the UVA, I guess, like it should help like stop that oxidative damage. But this is also where like the conversation for like healthy skin and sun care should lead into antioxidants and using your vitamin C's and your heavy antioxidants to help like pry off those free radicals and like let your skin cells be
From the
healthy.
healthy cells.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Very cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. Yeah.
But yes, Marsha, you need a good mineral sunscreen that doesn't leave white streaks. If you're looking for a mineral sunscreen, make sure that it has titanium oxide or zinc oxide on the back as active ingredients. Try to avoid chemical sunscreens. This is one thing that I learned again from that podcast with Dr. Gross from
which we're going to link in the description below.
Absolutely. I learned so much there, and it kind of blew me away because I thought I knew about sunscreen until he talked about it a little bit further. And chemical sunscreens aren't even, I'll save it for the podcast, but I remember leaving the podcast and thinking like he shared a bit of how the dose that's approved today we can find in our products, actually most recently the FDA has acknowledged that percentage of chemical in the sunscreen isn't good for you. Like, it's absorbed much more and much quicker than they had, I guess, tested prior. Like, it's just, there's an evolution now on what's allowed in a chemical sunscreen. So by all means, avoid it. And the sunscreen I recommend to use is it's called Elta MD. I learned about it in Los Angeles, but it's sold in dermatologist clinics, and I think you can find it online also.
Ooh, very cool. Yeah, we'll also link that too. And you wear that underneath your makeup.
I do, yeah. I add it on as a second moisturizer.
Interesting. So we touched on it very briefly in the beginning on like, makeup, the organics, the naturals, the clean ingredients, even to like the contours to more like enhance your beauty. What do you think, or how do you see the future of makeup? And what are some changes that you personally would like to see being in the industry?
Yeah, I see a lot of the categories kind of mirroring skincare in general. So not only makeup, but I see the change in hair care and body care, where we've gotten to a point where we're all now we're either entering in the journey of skin intelligence, or we're like super skin savvy. Like, we understand when to use an exfoliator, what it does, what different acids can do for you, the difference between like a BHA, AHA, like these are common things that we hear now.
Yeah.
By no means are we like experts, but at least we like pretend to be, and we know what we should be using. But I think that what's happening now is not only is like no makeup happening because there's such a stress in skincare to like have healthy skin. So of course, I feel like you're going to have your Insta glamours, we call them, like those that will do those tutorials and like are heavy into the art of makeup and and like all the different like tricks and emerging color like different techniques for sure.
Yeah.
And that shouldn't go away. And that's also like the line of makeup and like the line of like expression that brought me into makeup. I thought it was really cool to learn how to like draw on your face, which was really the origin of me even having an interest. But on the other hand, I feel like people are trying to continue their no makeup looks into their makeup looks. So like any makeup that can help amplify the benefits they're wishing they're working towards with their skincare products, that's really going to happen. You see a lot of brands now coming out with, it's called skincare makeup. So like minimalist makeup that mirrors either benefits of skincare, or that really is just like the no makeup look, making you look like you've got like a JLo glow and just naturally look flawless.
Yeah.
Those the skin based products like your concealers and foundations will keep evolving to have amazing technology to color match a lot quicker, because a lot of brands are going into like strong direct to consumer channels, so we won't even have a chance to try them, especially with like things shutting down and Sephora not having samples, right? Brands learn how to evolve their skin matching technologies with their foundations and concealers have a big opportunity to win, because like I said, I think that the base of like a flawless complexion will never go away.
Yeah.
But I also see that skincare angle getting introduced in hair care, where we're seeing like salicylic acid and different scrubs and detoxes for your scalp prior to washing your hair, or different boosters you add to your shampoos and conditioners to help like boost your scalp health. Because once your scalp health, hence like your skin is healthy, your hair has a better benefit. So this like the connection of skin is like throughout all categories, and body care as well. The whole theory and science behind the damage, the oxidative damage we endure from the sun on our body, on our limbs. We like neglect those parts of our bodies. I don't know, I remember last time I put sunscreen on my legs, and
Yeah.
then the older I get now, I'm like, I don't want wrinkly knees, or like I don't want like sunspots on my legs, on my calves, on my ankles. Like I now put sunscreen on my body knowing that it's safe for me if I use mineral. But also like you're trying to treat your whole skin organ as one, not just like, okay, my face is my main priority. It's like, no, your whole body is your priority. So makeup is probably going to, like other categories, really show a lot more signs of skincare, I feel.
Yeah. Yeah, that's awesome. I love where makeup is now, and you know, all the companies that are out there and everything that they offer. It's so exciting to try new things. And the foundations, like there's like a setting concealer where it's like you don't need the powder anymore, the concealer does it itself. Or there's like
Yeah.
the
All in one.
emergence of the BB creams and the tinted moisturizers. I'm still such a fan of those. Like, so cool. That technology just, it could be light coverage, it could be medium coverage, you can layer it, you could add this, you could add that. It's like, it's endless. And the multi-use sticks, blush, lipstick, I'm seeing YouTubers now even putting blush on their eyelids, like just
Yeah.
making it all look like even, normal, natural, clean, fresh.
Multi-use products, I feel like they're just so easy. I find that I no matter where I go, if I have to travel and not take all of my makeup with me, I take care of like definitely my concealer that I also do like I feel like a lot of people do this too. Instead of having a foundation, let's say your skin is going through a good phase and you don't need a lot of coverage, I feel content just with a concealer. I almost like use a concealer like a foundation, really.
Yeah.
I have a good moisturizer. I add these like I add a little bit of like bronzer to my moisturizer and add like a bit of shine to my face, but then I use like my concealer for like spots and areas where I just may want to conceal something. So I don't feel like I'm wearing a lot of makeup on my face, but yet I am using it, in fact. And then those the dual like cheek, lip, eye combos, you need like a handful of those. And I don't feel like you need to buy many products, they're on the go and like multi-use.
Yeah, because
So
when you're traveling, like my makeup bag, I just throw it in and it's like 3 pounds of weight in
I
there.
know.
Like, I didn't need to bring like 2 eyeshadow palettes. Like, it's, yeah.
I wish they had like an eyeshadow that could like an eyeshadow 1 or 2 compacts that could like morph into different colors. Because a palette is so hard and clunky to take with you. I also feel guilty if I bring a palette, if I travel, if it like bends out of shape and I break
Yeah.
the little palettes, right?
And then you always end up using like a few of the shades in there, and then there's that one that like you never touched.
I know. Oh my gosh.
Well, Millie, this was so awesome.
Yeah.
I had so much fun chatting with you.
Honestly, me too. We should just like, we should,
This is going to be a thing now.
let's just talk like this. We don't hang out as much as we'd like to anyway. So why don't we just meet on Zoom and just
Just have these
just
conversations
pick a
and see what
topic.
comes up. Yeah, this is why I always wanted to start a podcast, but it gets so daunting when you're like, you need this, you need that, soundproof room. And I was like, where do I have space for a soundproof room? Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
But when you just do, and when you just start and take the first step forward, magic happens.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, this was really fun. I appreciate you asking me all these questions. Like I said, I'm no way, shape, or form to your viewers an expert, but I know a few things. So all the links that I mentioned and all the information that I probably butchered that I know where I found, I will give you those links so they can look for it
oh my
themselves.
God, you're so sweet. It's real. And, the science is changing all the time. And I think sometimes more so than science, there should be a science of just through experience as well, because our bodies are so different and they react to different things. And sometimes science says this works and it doesn't. And then science has to tell you why it doesn't work. So don't worry too much about those facts. But yeah, take everything with a grain of salt from anybody, science, doctors, whomever. You be your own scientist. Follow your gut.
That's right.
I love you so much.
Yeah, love you too. Chat with you later. Have
Yeah.
a good weekend.
Thank you. Ciao.
Bye.
Okay, wait, don't hang up.
Okay.
So it says that it was recording. Stop recording. I just want to know where it saves.